I love how I was like, oh, my hair's not that gross and greasy. I don't need a beanie. Sure, Jan. Good afternoon. It is NaNoWriMo day 15. My personal word count goal for the day is 32,300 words, and I have not written yet today. For those of you who have not watched my previous 2 NaNoWriMo vlogs, those will be linked up in the cards. But long story short, I'm trying to write 2,300 words a day instead of NaNoWriMo 1667, hence 32,300. Being my goal today. We are at the midpoint of NaNoWriMo, and I am not yet at the midpoint of my novel, but I'm getting close. Like I said, haven't written today. I really don't have much to update you on at this exact moment, but daylight is only here for a little while, so here I am. Now, if you saw my previous vlog, I am currently in the process of catching up because I got slightly behind my personal goal. I have like 850 words to catch up today, so I need to write about 3,150-ish, somewhere around there. I did it yesterday. I think I'm motivated enough today to do that as well, and I also really like the chapter that I'm working on, so that should all lend itself to me getting a lot of words done today. Since I do have over 3,000 words to write today, I should probably finish chapter 16 and begin chapter 17 today. I'm not sure if I'll get all the way through 17, probably not. And chapter 18 is my midpoint, so I'm getting very close to the middle of the story. So that's my update. That's honestly not really an update because nothing's changed from last night. It's just me catching you up in case you haven't seen the previous vlogs, I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna go right now.
Ooh, time, all right.
Once again, I was real big dumb about remembering to update you last night, but I did get a lot of words in. It is day 16 of NaNoWriMo. My word count goal for the day is 34,600 words, and I'm currently sitting at about 31,750. I ended up writing a bit over 2,600 words yesterday, which was really great. It gave me like an extra 300 words closer to catching up, so I'm only a little behind today. Basically, if I write 2,800 words today, I'll be caught up. I'm not sure I will write 2,800 words today, but we'll see. It ended up that all of my 2,600 words yesterday were in chapter 16. So I'm moving on to chapter 17 today, and as I've mentioned before, 18 is the midpoint and 17 is the build up to the midpoint, so we're getting there. I'm almost relieved to be in this area because 17 and 18, because they are the lead up to the midpoint and the midpoint, are very defined events. Like, I feel like there's a tiny bit of wiggle room here, but not very much, which is very helpful for me when writing. And then once we get past the midpoint, we start getting into some of the scenes and chapters of the book that I really like. Honestly, I get why a lot of writers are not huge fans of Act 2 because it is very easy to wander with your plot and meander and just have a bunch of nothing. But honestly, that's kind of why I love Act 2. Like, all of the fun stuff happens in Act 2, at least in my opinion, and especially in this specific story. So we're getting into an area right now that is pretty well defined, and then after that, an area that I think is going to be fun and enjoyable to write. So I think that hopefully that will make writing a little bit easier over the next few days. I'm not going to have any of those chapters that I had a few days ago that were just really a struggle to get through. But I also don't want to jinx myself. So again, we'll see. Anyway, my goal today is just to start chapter 17. I'm not sure I'm going to finish it. I think that I want to try and get to 2,800 words, but if I don't, oh well, I can still make up more tomorrow. So that's it for now. Hopefully today I will actually update you later.
It's quite a bit later. It's like 10 o'clock right now, and I'm writing, which makes this, I think, the first while writing update that I've done in these vlogs. So I think earlier I talked about how I felt very confident about these next few chapters because I really liked the second half of Act 2, and the next 2 chapters, which were the lead up to the midpoint and the midpoint, were both pretty clear in what I was going to be writing. And I feel like a clown right now. I hate it. Like, I hate it a lot. Like, I really hate it. So I'm writing chapter 17 right now, and I think the first point is that there should only be one chapter. Like, the lead up to the midpoint that I have in my outline shouldn't exist. Like, there should be something to lead up to the midpoint, but not the thing I have in my outline. I debated this back and forth for quite a while earlier, and in the end, I just decided to go ahead and write it because at least that way it is written. but it can't be like it is. I hate it. I honestly don't know what I was thinking when I outlined this. Like, I had an existing outline, obviously, from the last time that I wrote a draft of this story, and then I re-outlined and kept some of the stuff the same, some of it different, and I moved stuff around a lot, and I'm shocked that I kept this thing in. Like, the main plot point of the midpoint, absolutely. Spot on. Nailed it. It's something that has always been in the story, but when I didn't fully understand like story structure, I had it much later in the story, and I moved it to the midpoint, and it makes a lot of sense. I really like that. It's all the things surrounding the midpoint that I don't like. Once again, the thing needs to happen, and I have a way that it's happening in the story, and I don't like it again. It's happened over and over again in this draft. That's what I'm finding out very quickly. Time and time again, I'm getting the core of the plot point correct. Like, I know what needs to happen. It's just the scene and the atmosphere and the events surrounding it that I'm totally messing up when I'm outlining. And now here I am trying to draft and realizing that this is a total mess, and I don't know what to do about it in the moment, so I'm just writing it. That said, though, this is the point of NaNoWriMo. The point is to get the words on the page and to fix them later, and that's what I'm doing. For this scene in particular, I think that the way everything kind of comes about is like too cheesy, too melodramatic, which was a problem with a lot of earlier versions of this story. It was just too melodramatic, cheesy, over the top, not realistic. And now that I've changed things and dialed back a lot of the melodrama, this is one of those things that is still kind of remaining from those earlier versions that I clearly need to change because the whole tone of the story has shifted, which I think is another overarching thing. Like, a lot of the lingering things from earlier versions that are melodramatic or just a bit over the top are the things that I'm continuing to have problems with. Like, for example, the main reason I don't fully have Act 3 figured out yet is because one of the key things that kind of sets into motion the rest of Act 3 is the most melodramatic scene in any version of this story ever. And I keep trying to figure out a way for that plot point to happen that is not such a melodramatic scene, and I still haven't figured my way around that. So lately it's been more of like, okay, how do I change that plot point to something that lends itself towards something a bit less melodramatic? So that's my current struggle. I am gonna keep writing. I'm about 1,000 words in for the day, so if I can get maybe, I don't know, 1,500, 1,600 more, whatever I said at the beginning of the day, that would be really nice. So I'm going to go back to writing, and hopefully I feel a little bit better about this after I do that.
From This American Life and WBEZ Chicago, it's Serial. One story told week by week.
Good afternoon. It is day 17 of NaNoWriMo, and my word count goal for the day is 36,900 words. So yesterday I finished the day with exactly 2,000 words, and it feels very weird to like say that and not feel a sense of accomplishment, because 2,000 words is like a good amount of words. That's a lot of words to write in a day. And not only is it not the extra words I wanted to do yesterday, but it also isn't to my daily goal. So it almost feels like a failure, even though it shouldn't. So yeah, I got literally exactly 2,000 words. So that means that instead of being 500 words behind like I was yesterday, now I'm back to 800 words behind. That said though, I'm not really that worried about it. I'm not really concerned about it. It's not something I'm stressed out about. I feel like at this point, 2,300 is kind of a reach. It's kind of a stretch. It's kind of I'm not sure I necessarily need 2,300 words every day to finish this draft, given how I've been kind of underwriting a lot of chapters and scenes. So I'm not super bothered by the fact that I'm a little bit behind, because even I'm sitting here being like, I'm not sure if 2,300 words per day is actually what I really need. Because as I've said a couple times, I've considered lowering the goal to 2,000 because that might be all I need. And I don't want to be super redundant, but again, the reason that I'm not officially lowering it is because I feel like when I'm gone for Thanksgiving, I'll be a little bit less productive. So I might as well shoot a bit higher while I'm still here with a bit more free time. So I wrote the entirety of chapter 17 last night. All 2,000 words were in that chapter. And I hate to keep harping on this, but once again, it just solidified my resolve to make this dual narration once I'm finished drafting, because I'm pretty confident that's what it needs to be. Because this is one of a few chapters where I switch perspectives at the end of the chapter, where part of the chapter is from another character, Nick's POV. And this one is unique in the fact that it's like half the chapter. Half the chapter is from my main character, half the chapter is from his. And I think that this is just not an effective way to tell the story. It's just too random. I insert parts from his POV when it's convenient, when I need it for the story. And it feels just like too easy, I guess. It doesn't feel very natural. I don't know how to put it. I just think that there's a better way to do this where it goes back and forth between these two characters rather than just like throwing in his POV when I absolutely need to have it. I hate to use this word, but amateurish is the word that's coming to mind. It feels like I don't know what I'm doing, so I just throw in his POV whenever I need it, and that doesn't seem effective. And once again, I feel like Act 3 is kind of an enigma at this point. I still don't know what I'm doing with it, but I feel like it would be easier to get a clearer understanding of Act 3 and make it better than the very vague idea I have in my mind if it is dual narration. So maybe I will just go ahead and write Act 3 dual narrated. I don't know. That's an idea. But I digress. I'm not even at the midpoint yet. I don't need to be thinking about this at this exact moment. Actually, I guess technically I am kind of at the midpoint now because I'm starting chapter 18 today, and that is the midpoint. I might jinx myself like I did yesterday, but I feel like I have a clearer idea of this chapter than I did of last chapter. I feel like I know what I'm doing with this chapter. Not totally sure, but I feel better about it. We'll see if that stays true when I actually write it. So I'm gonna go and do that, and I will hopefully update you again sometime later today. I literally don't even know what day of NaNoWriMo it is. It is day 18, and my word count goal for today is 39,200 words. It's right there. You can't see that, I don't think. Again, yesterday I wrote 2,000 words. I could have written 2,300, but I hit the end of the chapter and I was like, meh, 2,000's fine. I'm literally reading this directly from my bullet journal because I can't right now. So I ended the day yesterday with 35,763 words exactly. Where I should have been at the end of the day yesterday was 36,900 words. So I was like 1,150 words off from where I needed to be, which means that if I want to be totally caught up, I need to write somewhere around 3,500 words a day. Is that going to happen? Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. I've already written 1,000 words today. I know, I'm shocked too. I was inspired this morning. So basically, if I write 2,500 more words today, I can catch up. Is that going to happen? Not totally sure. Maybe. Which is something I would not have said the past few days. I can't remember if I've already addressed this in NaNoWriMo vlogs this year, but I think I addressed it in the 2016 NaNoWriMo vlogs. So there's this one character in my story that, like, as a person, I'm not a huge fan of them, but like, I don't have super strong opinions on them. They're a person who doesn't exist. I was gonna say a person who exists, but they don't exist. However, as a character in my novel, I hate them with a fiery, burning passion because of their role in the story and because of who they are. Every single time they show up in a chapter or a scene, it is so hard to write the chapter or scene. It is so hard to find inspiration or enjoy writing it. I just cannot stand writing chapters that they are included in, which I believe is why I've struggled so much over the past couple days writing the lead up to the midpoint and the midpoint because they play a fairly large role in both of those chapters. But now that we have moved past the midpoint, we are moving into the second half of Act 2, which is where they are non-existent. I don't have to write a single chapter including them for like several chapters, and that makes me so happy. I'm so sick of writing this person. Literally every single time they're in a scene, I just hate writing the scene, and I have zero fun writing the scene, and I'm super uninspired. So I'm really glad that, like, I think for the rest of Act 2, if not like into Act 3 as well, they don't pop up again. Thank goodness, because I don't want to write about them anymore. So moving on from that person, I finished chapter 18 yesterday, which was the midpoint. All 2,000 words went into that chapter. And then I started chapter 19 today, which has 1,000 words in it now, somewhere around there. And seriously, the second that character left the scene and I didn't have to write about them anymore, the words just came so much easier and I became happier with everything I was writing. So, I'm really excited to continue this chapter today. I think it's probably going to be one of the longer ones, so hopefully I can just move on and be much more happy about what I'm writing and much more inspired to write. Also, today is super gloomy, and it's not raining now, but it was earlier, so it's just kind of that perfect reading and writing mood. And because of that, I'm gonna try to actually start a new book, which I've been meaning to do for a week now. And the one that I'm going to start is Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus. This has now turned into a reading vlog. I read her first book, which I honestly can't think of the title of it right now. I'll put a picture here, I guess. And I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I didn't totally love it. There were definitely some tropes in there I did not appreciate and did not think should be used. Part of the reason I want to read this now is because I've got 2 books I want to read over the next couple of weeks, and this is a library book, and I'm probably going to have to return it soon, but also I'm going to be leaving, I think, in a few days for Thanksgiving, so I need to get on this so that I can return it before I leave. And to be super honest, another reason why I am wanting to pick this up now is because while I'm drafting, I want to read something that isn't going to make me feel like the worst writer ever. And I don't have super high hopes for this, and I also remember not being super impressed by her writing. I'm not saying I'm going into this expecting it to be bad. I just don't want to go into reading a book that I think I'm going to be obsessed with and love while I'm trying to draft for NaNoWriMo. So this seems to be a pretty decent choice. I feel like I'm being super shady right now. My point is, I don't want to read a book and be blown away with it while I'm trying to draft for NaNoWriMo, and I think that this is a pretty safe choice. That still sounded super shady. You get what I mean. I genuinely hope to enjoy this, but I am not going to be surprised if it's just a 3 out of 5 read for me. That's what I mean. Okay, it is officially time for me to shut up now, so I'm going to go and get some work done and then put some more words into my first draft, which is probably really terrible because it's a first draft.
So, I added a chapter. To be more accurate, I split a chapter into 2 parts, but I added a chapter. I think it's extremely possible that when it's finished, it will go back to being 1 chapter. So that's why I've labeled them 19 and 19.5. But as of right now, they have to be split into 2 chapters because I wrote 2,000 words today and all 2,000 were in chapter 19, and I didn't even get to 19.5, or what is now 19.5. And that's going to take at least another 2,000 words. I think that in editing, I can get it shorter and move it back down to 1 chapter. But like I said, it was just too much for one thing, so I had to break it up. Then again, I have not yet written 19.5, so who knows? Maybe once I write that, I'll realize, oh no, this one's way too long too. Guess I can't combine them. I don't know, we'll see. But I definitely figured out that I have more work to do than I thought I did. Like I mentioned though, I have written 2,000 words today, almost 2,100. There's only half an hour left in the day, so I'm not sure I'm gonna write any more before the day ends, but I do think I want to write more before I go to sleep. So I might get a little bit out ahead of tomorrow's words or continue trying to catch up because I'm going to get further behind if I don't continue to write. We'll see though. I think that the next few chapters will really lend themselves to inspiring me and motivating me to write more. So hopefully that happens. I felt like words came pretty easily today, and I think that I kind of overwrote a little bit. So maybe I'm getting back into that, and hopefully that will help facilitate more words being written. Maybe. Another thing that I want to do within the next few days is to kind of brainstorm a little bit for Act 3. So the thing with Act 3 is that I haven't ever changed it very much from its original state. And when I went into re-outlining for this draft, I was really questioning whether or not I wanted that to be the way that everything played out. And when I went into this draft, I was really finding myself questioning if that was how I wanted it all to turn out. So in a sense, I do have a clear idea of Act 3, but that's kind of like the original version of Act 3. And I don't think that's what I want it to be going forward into the future, which is why I keep saying that I have only vague ideas. And as I've been drafting, I've gotten a few ideas as to what to do about Act 3. And I think that they're pretty decent, but I don't know how to take that idea from concept to a full act of my story. So I'm gonna see how I can outline that out into like 9 chapters, I think, and B, or 2, how I can write that in dual narration. Because I think that although I don't want to like re-outline this whole thing in dual narration, if I'm going to have to re-outline Act 3 or outline it for the first time for this new version, I want to try out the dual narration because I think that's the direction that I want to go in. So I don't know when I'm going to do that brainstorming, outlining stuff for Act 3, but I want to do it sometime within the next few days because I have I have more chapters left before I get into Act 3 than I thought I did. So I have 9 chapters left to write before I jump into Act 3, which given the rate I've been writing at is probably 9 days. And as I'm saying that, I'm also realizing that if there are 9 chapters in Act 3, that means probably about 18 days, which is longer than what I have left in NaNoWriMo. Yikes. But I'm not going to think about that right now. I am just going to keep writing, keep chugging forward, see what I can do, and try and figure out a little bit more about what I want to do with Act 3. So I think that's it for tonight. I will let you know sometime tomorrow whether or not I ended up getting anything else done tonight.
Okay, I'm going to try to make this update as quick as possible because I don't really have that much to update you on, and also I don't have time to be doing this. It is NaNoWriMo day 19. My personal word count goal for the day is 41,500, and I am currently sitting just under 39,000. I wrote a little bit over 2,000 words yesterday, and that got me up to about like 37,800, somewhere around there, and then I wrote this morning and got like another 1,000 words in today. So I've kind of progressively got a little bit more behind each day since I'm writing 300 words underneath my personal goal. Again, I'm still not too bothered by it, but I am, I think, 1,300 to 1,400 words behind, or at least I was at the beginning of the day, which means I'd have to write like over 3,500 words today to catch up, which would be a lot and is probably not going to happen. But hopefully I can write a little bit more than my goal today and like catch up a little bit. So like I said, not much to update. I will check back in later though because I plan to end this vlog today, so I'll do another wrap up at the end.
Alright, so it is later and I'm here to wrap this vlog up even though it's not even 10 p.m. because I ended up writing 3,775 words today. That's right, you heard me. I caught up. My goal for today was 41,500 words, and I am currently at 41,632, which means I'm now ahead. Not by much, but like I'm gonna take every small victory I can get. See, this is what I mean. I'm that person who will write like 2,000 words several days in a row, and then one day suddenly I'm writing almost 4,000 words. That's just how I operate. The words today came like super easy. I did them in like 3 or 4 writing sessions, and for one of the sessions I decided to switch it up and write on my iPad instead of on my laptop, and I thought that maybe I got like 400, 500 words. I didn't think I wrote a ton, and then when I put it into Scrivener, it was like almost 1,000 words, and I was like, I was so confused. So I ended up finishing chapter 19.5 and then moved on to chapter 20, which I'm now like 1,000 words into. Honestly, I was very tempted to continue writing chapter 20, but I really don't want to burn myself out today. Like, I have already written a lot. I feel a little tired of writing, but I also just kind of wanted to get through the rest of the chapter. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to pause for now, Maybe I'll write like after midnight, but I'm done for today. So in the past 2 writing vlogs that I did, I kind of talked a bit about like how I felt about the past several days of writing and what I hope to do going forward. And like honestly, I don't know how the past few days have gone. Like, watch the rest of the vlog to know that, because at this point my brain can't think enough to remember how those went. I think in terms of going forward, the absolute biggest thing I need to do is outline Act 3. Like, I need to do that in the next few days so I don't like bog myself down trying to pants Act 3 when I get there. I think I mentioned this in a previous update, but I think I have a lot of good ideas on how to make it good and how to improve on previous versions of it. I'm just not sure how to coalesce all of those into an act. And that's what I need to like think on. I need to set aside some time and just try to brainstorm things that can happen and then try and outline it, because I think I've got good ideas. I just need to figure out how to implement them. That is like the theme of NaNoWriMo. I have good ideas, I have good plot points, but I always implement them wrong, and I need to get it right this time. Also, I'm very concerned that I might be getting sick again, which if that happens, that'll be the 3rd time this fall, which I cannot deal with because I can't remember the last time I was sick apart from this. So I think that is the extent of my wrap up. Sometime in the next vlog, I need to outline Act 3. It has to happen. Also, in a few days, I'm going to be traveling, so I'm not sure how much I will be able to vlog of the rest of NaNoWriMo. I know the next few days I will be able to, but after that, who knows? All I know is that today was a really good day, and I hope that I can have at least 1 or 2 more of those before the end of NaNoWriMo, because that will really help me to be motivated to get to the end and get a finished draft, because that is my main goal at this point. Finish the draft. And hopefully I can do that by the end of the month. But that is all for this vlog. As always, links to all my social media are down in the description. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.